All right. Let's go ahead and play this.
Was ist unser Leben wert, wenn allein regiert das Schwert und die ganze Welt zerfällt in toten Sand? Aber das wird nicht geschehen, denn wir wollen nicht untergehen, und so rufen wir durch unser deutsches Land. Go home, Ami, Ami, go home. Spalte für den Frieden dein Atom. Sag du bei dem Vater rein, rühr nicht an sein Töchterlein. Lorelei, solang du singst, wird Deutschland sein. Aus USA sind für die Etappe da. Wollen die German Boys verrecken in dem Sand. Noch sind wir die Waffen kalt, doch der Friede wird nicht bald. Hält nicht jeder schützend über ihn die Hand. Go home, Ami, Ami, go home. Spalte für den Frieden dein Atom. Sag uns bei der Vater rein, rühr nicht an sein Töchterlein. Lorelei, solang du singst, wird Deutschland sein. Sitzt und kämmt ihr goldenes Haar. Wer den Kamm hier bricht in zwei, bricht sich selbst das Knick dabei. Uralt ist das Märchen, traurig, aber wahr. Go home, Ami, Ami, go home. Lass in Ruhe den deutschen Strom. Denn für deinen Way of Life kriegst du uns ja doch nicht reif. Grüß von euch, den Bonglisier, der Kamm bleibt hier.
All right. What's going on, everybody? So I was going to just talk about this PDF I saw. I think it's a full book about Ergun. And I might still show it. I might still read some of it, but it's a long book. And a lot of it is about the martyrs of the Ergun movement. So I decided I'm going to focus on things, just call it a Vibestream. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this video by Jason Unruhe that he just put out, which I feel is bad faith, in my opinion. Why do you call yourself a third worldist? And then you're going to be like, well, actually, crypto is nonsense. And yeah, like I said, I think that it's too early to tell. I really do. I think that a lot of this is just kind of old curmudgeon-y type stuff. Like I say, I have my doubts about crypto as well, in general. I mean, in particular, where it's like, okay, yeah, you have your electronic wallet. It's like, okay, if you lose that wallet, you're effed. And then, of course, it's like if you lose a password or something like that for like Monero, then you're fucked in that way too, you know? So it's like, what are you talking about? But let's go ahead and get into this video right quick. Let's see here. Did I share the audio? Let me see. Let me make sure I share it. I think I did, but let me see here. Share screen. There we go. Share audio. There we go. Just want to make sure because I didn't see that. All right. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and continue. Yeah. Had ginger beer. It's a pretty good soda. Huh. I think I have. It's been a while.
Cryptocurrencies have suffered from extreme highs and terrifying lows, great fluctuations all over the place.
Okay.
All of it due to the words of one man, Elon Musk. And there's a lesson to be learned here. Cryptocurrencies are nonsense.
Okay. To a point, I can agree because I only have $10 in Bitcoin and it has gone down. but I think that this is just a stumbling block at best. I really do think that cryptocurrency, like I say, this is like a Pandora's box type of thing. Once you open that box to like, now we're going to have cryptocurrency, it's not going to just go away. At least in my opinion. Like I say, you can try to stop it, you can try to slow it down, but to me, now it's just going to go underground. That's all. There's going to be less libertarians that are going to get involved with this, and now it's going to change hands to criminal syndicates, to the lumpen proletariat, and everybody else. This should be a good thing for people like you, Jason Unruhe, who call yourselves third worldists. I've got a little article that may be good, it may not. It may prove them right, but we're going to talk about it because it's basically talking about how crypto is great in Africa. But, and this was written, let's see here. So this is April 14th. Okay, so before a lot of the headache and whatnot, and obviously Akon, of course, the singer who did songs like I'm Locked Up and all that sort of thing. But yeah, he also discovered Bieber. Yeah, he discovered Bieber. Yeah. So there's that, yeah. We hear and see everything. Okay, wait. Crypto vulnerable to inflation too? I guess it could be, but it's just like, I personally think I have my doubts about crypto, but I feel like it's a step in the right direction. So yeah, let's continue here. So he says crypto is nonsense. Okay, buddy. Okay, boomer.
Back in the early 2010s, people were absolutely insistent that this cryptocurrency was going to take over the world. Bitcoin was going to override all the big banks and supplant fiat currency as the new mode of buying and selling, the new lubrication for transactions that money serves. But as we can see, no such thing happened. Now, back in 2015, I published a book that had a whole section on cryptocurrencies, and in it, not to toot my own horn, but I did perfectly call exactly what was going to happen. The only thing I
does not provide a link to his book at all, does not provide a link, doesn't even provide a PDF. The only way that you can find it is on Amazon. It's $32.50. So, yeah. You would think that somebody who wants to try to actually get this information out, you would actually put up a PDF, a free PDF, or like a sample. But no, there's nothing. Let me see here. Yeah, there's nothing. There is nothing here. So no link to your book. I'm like, okay, you talk about the book, but you have no link to it. Why? Just okay.
I didn't foresee was the environmental impact that Bitcoin was going to have. Okay. All men are fantastic claims.
Okay, there's Bitcoin, there's Ethereum, there's Monero. There are literally thousands of Bitcoin out there, bro. There's literally thousands of different types of cryptocurrency. Let's go ahead and talk about this a little bit. So this is, of course, Akon, why crypto could transform Africa's future. All right, so this is, of course, like I say, this is somewhat biased because obviously he is making a city literally with his name on it called Akon City, but yeah. Africa is a cryptocurrency frontier. This revolutionary technology brings transparency and opportunity, making a new Africa possible. It's already happening there in major ways. Excuse me. African countries regularly rank in the top 10 of searches on Google Trends for the term cryptocurrency. According to the 2020 Global Crypto Adoption Index from blockchain analytics firms Chain Analysis, South Africa, Kenya, and Nigeria are among the world's leaders in peer-to-peer cryptocurrency trading. Now, of course, like I say, there are problems and everything else, but yeah, cryptocurrency-based remittance services are popular on the continent as well, including Abra in Malawi and Morocco, GeoPay in South Africa, Bitmari in Zimbabwe, and Kobo Coin throughout Africa. Now that's interesting because if I look at this, cryptocurrency in Africa, there was one that I looked at, and then, excuse me, I got to do PDF. Sorry. And there's one. Let's see. I think it's this one. And so they do show the map of Zimbabwe. Like I said, maybe it has changed, but on this map here, it says that Zimbabwe, it was banned. So maybe something changed between 2019 and 2021. I'm not sure, but yeah. as we can see here, like I say, there's a fair amount of countries that do have crypto. Like I say, yeah. He's bad at editing documentaries and marketing. He really is, like I say. I'm not to say I'm brilliant at it, but the thing is, though, it takes one to know one. I mean, I make some pretty not great content necessarily, but it's like, bro, you could put a little bit more effort into it. You know, it's like you've been doing this for 12 years. It's like, yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, let's continue. Okay.
Claims have been made by Bitcoin. It was going to replace the central banks. It was going to take over the world. It was going to be the new currency, and even the...
That's okay. Yeah. Once again, though, that's libertarians and ANCAP specifically, which you mentioned. I get the idea that you're wearing a yellow, looks like a silk shirt, maybe just a regular cotton shirt with a black tie. I get it. I get the ANCAP reference. I get it. Ha ha. But the thing is, though, yeah, that's libertarians. If you're a third worldist, once again, this is why I don't think Jason Unruhe is really a third worldist, to be honest with you. I really don't. Because he'll shit on the Philippines and say that the Maoists aren't doing the right thing. He'll point to, you know, random, I'm trying to think of which country it is. I think he was talking about Angola. Yeah, I think he was talking about Angola. Give your money to the Angolan Communist Party. I really don't think he is a third world. I think he just does that just so he can, you know, make cope content. But that's just me. Yeah. I do have another question about crypto. Do you need fancy software defense to avoid having your crypto bank? That's the whole idea of. I'm trying to think of it now. That's why you have the blockchain. That way, it's more of a, you know, it's like a record that you can have, but it's kind of all put in, you know, it's protected. That's not to say crypto is perfect. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying is that, you know, that's just my view. But anyway, let's continue.
The IMF and the World Bank were going to have to bow down to its use. And most humorously to me was the claim that it was going to cure poverty in the third world.
Okay. Once again, we have our map. Is it brilliant? No, it isn't. But let's go ahead and take a look at what Akon says. Now, like I say, Akon, of course, got his money through, you know, music and everything else, you know, and discovering people like, I keep on wanting to say, but Bieber, basically. What is his name? Justin Bieber. That's it, yeah. So he did discover Justin Bieber, I believe. And so, yeah, like I say, cryptocurrency base, yeah. Fueling the shift to crypto is the fact that Africa has the youngest population, expected to double by 2045. Double. Yeah, there you go. By that time, the African workforce will become the largest in the world, too. Unfortunately, many Africans lack access to the global financial system. That's why it's important to open the doors for Africans to have a say in their financial future. I am currently leading the construction of Akon City, a futuristic city in Senegal, Kenya, where he's from. I've also founded the cryptocurrency Acoin. As a result, I have a financial interest in writing this article. At least he's honest. So, like I say, Jason, how are you a third worldist if you say that African countries should just bow down to, you know, Europe by saying you have to deal with us in euros? Like I say, this is kind of the whole idea that Gaddafi was talking about, right? Where he was going to throw the chains off of Africa by saying we're going to create a currency for the continent of Africa. And that's, like I say, that's when a lot of people say that he was going to be killed and everything else, but that's a whole other story. Africa's youth are what's called a leapfrog generation. They skipped landlines and computers and went straight to mobile phones and mobile payments. Okay. Let's see. The big ideas in crypto is the foundation. When you consider the massive power of Africa's most valuable resource, its people, combined with its natural resources, it's clear that it is an incredible moment for the continent. Let me go ahead and see another one here, though. Of let's see here, cryptocurrency in Africa. I'll just go ahead and do that. Like I say, I mean, this is just another example, but it's like, yeah. Why is crypto adoption growing in Africa? how Bitcoin met the real world in Africa. Okay, well, let's go ahead and see this one. Let's go ahead and be fair. This is from 2020. Made a fundamental change to his business selling mobile phones in a bustling street in Lagos, in Nigeria. He started paying his suppliers in Bitcoin. Okay. And once again, this is, of course, September 6, 2020. Trying to be good faith here. I know. This is before Elon Musk said what he said. Okay. Monthly currency transfers to and from Africa under 10,000. Yet risks abound. Are unregulated in many countries, and their legal status is unclear, meaning there is no safety net and little recourse if you lose funds. Yeah, that's fair. That's true. Crypto transfers soar in Africa. Like I say, I don't think crypto is going anywhere just because Elon Musk says so and the market had a shook up. People are still going to use it to a point. And like I say, once again, criminal syndicates, your lumpen proletariat, they're still going to have a way so that they don't just use cash, U.S. cash or, Chinese money, of course, is very much protected anyway and everything else. They're fairly regulated. But, the euro, whichever, right? These are, people don't want to be able to trace that money. So an easier way is to use Bitcoin, Monero, one of the other thousands, possibly millions of other Bitcoin. You know what I mean? You would assume he supports socialist parties like in Latin America. Yeah. I heard that there's an African version of the EU, but I'm not very well read on it. Yeah, like I say, I'm too much of a honky to know, but I think, yeah, there is, though. Let's go ahead and finish this up, though.
Well, as we can see, no such thing happened.
Yeah.
But let's take a more specific look at recent events.
I don't know what the fuck this is about. Is this a signal? I remember someone said this in the comments. Like, is this a signal? You could just edit this down, bro.
1. Social media influencers have been spending a suspicious amount of time pumping up the profile of digital currencies, that both being Bitcoin and Dogecoin. And
okay, number 1, it's Dogecoin. Number 2 is, once again, that's a very Western point of view, Jason. It's a very Western point of view. It's very chauvinistic of you, sir. Like I say, he claims to be a third worldist, and yet he focuses on Bitcoin and Dogecoin. Okay. What about Ethereum in your own country that, or excuse me. I think Ethereum comes from a Russian, Canadian-born guy. So what in the world are you talking about?
When these quasi-celebrities come out and they do this kind of thing, one with a skeptical eye should immediately be wary of what's going on, especially something that is as vulnerable to speculation as digital currencies are. And like anyone else, I paid careful attention.
Okay.
Now, the most notable individual behind this was Elon Musk. He is the god king of many of the techno-minded internet people. Now, he said that he was going to invest heavily in Bitcoin, and so was his company Tesla.
Yeah.
And as a result, the price for many cryptocurrencies skyrocketed because he said Tesla would begin taking payments for their cars.
Okay. So let's go ahead and... Okay, so here we go. So here's... Okay, they're not going to let me... Okay, Forbes will probably let me read it. So I'll go ahead and see if they get picky. I won't sell. Dogecoin Tesla billionaire Elon Musk reveals where he stands in the true battle between the dollar and crypto. Okay? Well, like I say, let's take this with a grain of salt, but let's see where he goes. Okay, who's recently gone all in on the somewhat satirical cryptocurrency Dogecoin, helping its price soar many thousands of percent to a mind-blowing $42 billion market capitalization, sees a battle coming between government-backed fiat currencies and protocol-based cryptocurrencies. The true battle is between fiat and crypto. Musk, who also runs the space company SpaceX, I haven't and won't sell any Dogecoin. Musk tweeted this week in response to an investing influencer's claim Musk has a large Doge holding. So just make sure this was May 23rd, 2021. This is earlier today. Just checking, like I said. However, Musk was partly blamed for a Bitcoin crypto crash this month following his criticism of Bitcoin's energy use, leading Tesla to suspend Bitcoin payments until Bitcoin transitions to more sustainable energy. Musk appears to have had his prior interest in crypto galvanized by coronavirus pandemic-induced government spending over the last year. Okay, yeah, like I say, Dogecoin, yeah, when fiat currency has negative real interest, only a fool wouldn't look elsewhere. The U.S. Federal Reserve, along with many other of the world's major central banks, has gone on a spending spree over the last year in an attempt to offset the economic damage. Okay. It is only a matter of time before the changing sentiment towards fiat currencies will bring to reality a world in which they move out of the mainstream. So, like I say, this is fairly limited information. Take this with a huge grain of salt, but it's like, this is very, like I say, so this is very bad faith of Jason Unruhe. But like I say, I know that he's doing 3 videos a week, he said. So, all right, let's continue.
In digital currencies, more specifically Bitcoin and Dogecoin. Now, eventually Elon Musk changed his mind and decided that it was too harmful to the environment and backed off on the whole craze. And then came out and said, well, okay, Tesla wasn't really going to accept it as payment.
I was looking for, there is evidence, though. I saw this from yahoo.com. I know, take it from Yahoo News, where they said is that Tesla still has money in Bitcoin, or still has assets in Bitcoin and in Dogecoin. So take it with a grain of salt.
For their vehicles. And that sent the price of them crashing down to earth. One wonders if Elon Musk sold off his holding in digital currencies when it was at that great height.
Apparently he didn't, accordingly. I'm not going to sit here and be an Elon Musk simp, but come on, man.
Why is this all happening?
Okay, so money does not determine the economic system and its functioning. The inverse is actually true. Now, I don't fully believe this. Like I say, depending on how deep you get into this, the thing is, I don't really care what Jason Unruhe has to say, because this is his quote, as he puts it. The economic system controls it. So let's see here. What does Lord Rothschild say about money? What is his quote on money? Let's see here. Let me issue and control the nation's money, and I care not who writes the laws. Take that with a grain of salt, right? Doesn't matter what nation, I care not what as long as he controls the money, who cares about what a nation comes up with? It's basically the same thing, yeah. Who controls the issuance of money controls the government. There you go. There you go. Take that with a grain of salt, yeah. So, like I say, and I know people are going to say, oh, that's anti-Semitic that you say that. Regardless, I use that as a counterpoint to your BS quote here. I almost want to buy his book, but I don't want to spend $32.50 reading gobbledygook that he wrote back in 2015. So I don't know. Like I say, I probably won't. I'll probably take it off my wish list. But what is this? Like I say, like I said, this is kind of this is part of the reason why the left in the West in general is the way that it is they're just like, Bitcoin is nonsense. It's all libertarian spurgs. Yeah, right now it's up to libertarian spurgs. But the thing is, though, once, like I say, there are African nations that are using this. Are you going to say that those folks in Africa are all libertarians? I mean, just, go ahead. Talk about just, oh man, go ahead. I know I'm repeating myself.
What Bitcoin suffers from, the main problem that it faces, is capitalism. Essentially, what libertarians, ANCAPs, etc., have failed to understand is that money doesn't make the system. The system makes money. Money doesn't determine how the system functions. How the system functions determines how money is used.
Okay. So this is very limited, in my opinion. Part of that is true. But the thing is, though, is the system, quote unquote, can be influenced by people fairly easily if they have enough power and sway. So this is nonsense. Like I say, he gives way too much faith, I think, to a federal government or to a central government. The thing is, take a look at when, Mark Zuckerberg came before Congress. They're like, "Oh, how are you doing today, Mr. Zuckerberg?" "Ah, yes, well, this and that." And they bent over backwards for him because he has that much freaking power. But dodos like you are going to be like, "Oh, well, the central government has all this power." What?
Any currency is subject to the laws of political economy, in this case, capitalism. And that very fact is the main cornerstone.
Okay, to me, this is kind of like a reverse of the idea that that your currency has power, that sort of thing, where it's like, okay, so if you boycott something, then they'll be hurt by it. This is kind of like the idea behind BDS, where it's like, regardless of what you say, I mean, it's not very successful, right? This is kind of like him saying, is it basically, vote with your dollar type of stuff. It's like, to a point that's true, but ordinary average people don't have that sort of power. Yeah, Elon Musk has that power, but not, not me, and definitely not you, Jason.
Why they don't understand why cryptocurrencies act the way they do.
And that's fair. That is a fair opinion, yeah. I'm also conscious of libertarians hyping up Bitcoin. Absolutely. I do agree with that. And you should be. You should be cautious of libertarians and what sort of nonsense comes out of their mouth. Absolutely. The thing is, to me, is that, yeah, libertarians are hyping it up now. But eventually, when other parties get a hold of Bitcoin and they really put it to a better use, in their opinion, like, money laundering, et cetera, when that happens on a bigger level, then libertarians would be like, "Oh, it's so unfortunate." When once it's out of their hands, then it'll be different. But that's just me, yeah.
Because they cannot take a critical look at currency if they can't even take a critical look at the system in which it exists.
See, the thing is, I'll tell you what also is nonsense, which goes to show just how limiting it is. So let's see here. So let's take a look at this here. This may be in his favor, but let's go ahead and take a look at it. So this is South China Morning Post. Take it for a grain of salt. I know that they're Celia Chen and Shenzhen. Okay. Xinhua's commentary on Sunday reminded consumers not to believe the myth of wealth creation from speculative trading of cryptocurrencies. The thing is, though, is that China was in talks of creating their own cryptocurrency, the crypto yuan. So, like I say, that followed a statement from the State Council, China's cabinet, of a further crackdown on Bitcoin mining and trading. Let's see what we got here. Bitcoin's global sell-off resumed on Friday amid Beijing's latest crackdown on the trading and mining of digital tokens. Communist Party Xinhua said in commentary, compared with traditional investment tools, the risks in the virtual currency market are extremely high, as the market is not mature, but with strong volatility, high speculation, and lack of clear trading supervision rules. Its commentary also reminded consumers not to believe the myth of wealth creation from speculative trading of cryptocurrencies. All right. I think that they're saying some of this, though, because China does want to come up with their own. But like I say, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm an idiot. And that's fair. Like I say, I try to take this all with a grain of salt. Okay, there's nothing. Okay. Want to watch this next? Sure. Let's go ahead and let me take a look at that here. Let's see what we got. So, I mean, like I say, just take it all with a grain of salt, in my opinion. Let's see here. I didn't mute it, did I? Let me do that right quick. Opinion. Let me do that. Okay, there we go. That way you don't have to hear my voice twice here. Okay, how sexism... Oh, okay. Ah. By International Women's Day. Oh, wow. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord have mercy. That's a tranny, isn't it? Okay. I think that's what it... Okay. Let's go ahead and finish this up, though. All right, let's finish this nonsense up.
Exists. The main problem that Bitcoin faces is its wild fluctuations, as is evidenced by this chart.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask any capitalist, any banker, they'll tell you that instability in a currency is a massive hindrance. Planning your business becomes a guessing game. Budgets are a crapshoot. Not only that, but it creates wariness for an economy in general.
Mm-hmm.
There is a reason why countries have central banks to regulate their currency. With this kind of insanity...
Well, thank you, Alexander Hamilton.
Imagine how often you'd have to change the prices of your goods. What more really needs to be said about this? Instability in currencies is why states regulate their currencies to begin with. All of this I perfectly laid out in my 2015 book, Utopian Capitalism, where I took on the Fed, the gold standard, digital currency, and even 3D printing.
Okay. I would see this is the real point that I wanted to get his book. Where is 3D printing bad? What in the world are you talking about, bro? It's like, once again, if the US really came down to like banning firearms and stuff like that, let me tell you something. 3D printing will blow up. I will tell, like I said, you will have 3D printers in every city in this country printing weapons and finding a way to produce ammunition. They will be taking, like I say, there will be no brass instruments anywhere. They will be melting down brass to create ammo. Let me tell you something. And they will find, it's like copper pipe will disappear to create ammo. Okay? Can I tell you that right now? I mean, maybe that's Fed posty, but it's like, bro, what are you talking about?
And the nonsense that a lot of these were based upon. A failure to understand capitalism and the context in which these things exist. Now, in preparation for this video, I made the decision to go ahead and I'm going to do one big deep dive on digital currencies. Maybe one nice big juicy half-hour video or something like that. Something to really go into all the unique problems that cryptocurrencies suffer from their very own nature and the nature of the system in which they exist. So in a little bit of time, expect that big video to be coming up soon. One great big deep dive into cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, make sure that your audio is halfway decent, all right? Because when you put out these 30-minute long videos, the audio is crap, all right? So please, get your audio straight, all right? I will listen to your Feihua and see if you actually mention African countries. I would love to see that. Because if you don't, you're kind of you're going to be kind of full of crap if you don't. But that's just me. Yeah, Hamilton shill, exactly. Oh, a liberal Russian? Okay, yeah. Unruhe still thinks that the professional revolutionary is still possible. Oh, okay. Yeah, so he's a boomer. Yeah. That's one of the major problems with ML. It's amazing to me that he'll talk about people like Danky Kang and realize that, people like Danky Kang left the PC USA because it was filled with boomers who, lived in the past. And yet, ironically, when you talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general, you still live in the past too, like some old man. Well, actually, the central bank, and he lives in this old school idea where it's like, you know, like politicians control capitalism. No, individual tycoons control capitalism. All right, and the Federal Reserve. I just to think actually that people like Nancy Pelosi have any control over the currency or any of these chairs or anything like that within Congress have any power to change these things, you're an idiot. You are a moron. I'm just going to say that right now. But that's just me. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. But yeah. Anywho, let's get to this video about Russia, huh?
Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please...
Whatever. Let's continue. Here we go.
Hi guys, my name is Natasha, and in today's video I'll tell you about two very important holidays in Russia: the Defender of the Fatherland Day, celebrated on the 23rd of February, and the International Women's Day, celebrated on the 8th of March. So why I decided to combine these two holidays in one video? Not because I was late for making a separate video on the 23rd, being overwhelmed by the growth of my channel, but just because these two holidays come side by side in Russia. And this is reflected in the fact that even though the Defender of the Fatherland Day is a day when we celebrate our military achievements, and the International Women's Day is a day when we celebrate women's rights, in today's Russia, these holidays tend to lose their initial meaning, and we celebrate them just as a Men's Day and a Women's Day. And this is reinforcing gender stereotypes. I thought that it is an interesting topic to discuss, so let's figure it out.
All right.
I will start with the history of the Defender of the Fatherland Day. And honestly, for me, it was really hard to follow all these events that preceded the establishment of this holiday, because when I'm reading these Soviet abbreviations like CK, RDSRP, I don't understand them. But from what I understood, basically, in 1919, it was originally proposed to celebrate the anniversary of the Workers' and Peasants' Red Army on the 28th of January. But this was postponed, and the holiday was established only on the 23rd of February. And this is a poster of events celebrating these holidays in the city of Pskov in 1919. It says here about military parades, free film screenings, and performances for the Red Army and workers. In 1938, Soviet Premier Joseph Stalin proposed to interpret the 23rd of February as a day of victory over Germans near Narva and Pskov in 1918. But according to some archival data, there were no battles near that cities on that day. But anyways, there's one more event on that day that Stalin is responsible for, and that I wish was talked about more often today. And now I mean the deportation of Chechen and Ingush people that started on the February 23rd in 1944. I think that while celebrating the February 23rd, we should not forget these shameful stains on our history.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about that, because there are people that do talk about it. I know that you live in Russia, but the thing is that you don't want to get involved with the Wignats and whatnot. But there are people that do talk about this, yeah. And the thing is that they collaborated, and there were folks that were part of the Heavies, which are the volunteers, and everything else. And I'm sure some of them were even part of Vlasov's army, so they were considered unreliable. They were considered politically unreliable. Not to say that defends it. I'm just saying is that was the thought process.
Even though these two events are not connected with each other. Anyway, so until 1991, this holiday was observed as the Soviet Army and Navy Day. And in 2002, Russian Parliament reintroduced it as the Defender of the Fatherland Day. And now I will tell you about how we celebrate this holiday in Russia. Preparation begins a couple of weeks earlier. In stores, you might see some items with military symbols like tanks, soldiers, and stars. For example, this is yogurt that I saw in some cafe in Khabarovsk, and it says "Breakfast of the Man." And let's check on how advertisement works. Other day, I came across an ad saying gifts for the defenders. So I went to that online store, and there were gifts like underpants, stereo, and a drill. For little boys, there were toys like soldiers and cars.
Hmm.
There are three
Okay.
different opinions on the circle of persons their congratulations should be addressed to. According to the first opinion, we have to congratulate
I'm feeling immensely sleepy just trying to listen to her. I'm so sorry, folks.
only professional military personnel, regardless of gender.
Oh, really?
According to the second opinion,
Oh,
we
wow.
can congratulate all people who somehow were involved in the army, especially veterans, also regardless of gender.
Mm.
And the third opinion is that on this day, we should congratulate all Russian male citizens, even those who never had anything to do with the army. And in my
Base.
experience, this third opinion prevails in the understanding of the defender of the fatherland day in today's Russia. When I was in school, girls of our class also gave small presents to our boys. It was our 11th grade, like the last one, and we made like a tea party. But a fun fact that in Russian schools, tea parties or чаепитие, it's not like this traditional ceremony. No, it's just kind of a meal on the desk with candies and soft drinks instead
Okay.
of tea. But whatever, it was always interesting and fun. And I
Yeah.
don't know where it comes from. I think it's only like the Russian school thing. I wonder if this exists in other countries. If you do have it, please share it in comments. So yeah, we
Probably,
threw
I don't
this party for our boys, and we made it in the marine style. So we were dressed in these sailors' tops, and we made this special cake with their faces.
Oh, wow. Why is she showing the Asian dude a lot? Is this is this like the whole what is this, the what's it called, the Eurasian sort of thing, Eurasian gang? Is this a clue to what's his name, Dugan? This is like Dugan's wet dream, isn't it?
And I painted this poster, which is saying, "Dear boys,
Oh, wow.
happy February 23rd. Be strong and brave." From the girls of the 11th A grade. 1 year before, we made another gift. So it were like Mars chocolate bars, like Mars, God of War, with faces of our boys, armory, and shoulder straps. This was designed by me as well, by the way.
Okay.
Back then, it seemed as something normal for us to congratulate our school boys with these military attributes.
Okay.
But now I'm rethinking it, like why I wrote "Be strong and brave." Because this is what I associated with masculinity. I couldn't write just "be happy." The thing is that in Russia, there is a compulsory military service for men, and some people are against it, including myself. But by such wishes, society kind of implies that every boy must go to the army. He has to be strong and brave. Otherwise, he's not a man. But what about men who don't want to go to the army? Or what about people who don't identify as males and they don't want to be congratulated on that holiday? Now let's talk
What the fuck is this pigeon shit?
about the International Women's Day. This holiday originated in the beginning of the last century, when inequality was spurring women to campaign for change. Thousands of women in different countries marched to demand shorter hours, better pay, and voting rights. In Russia, demonstrations coincided with the beginning of the February Revolution. In February of 1917,
Let's see here. What else we got here? Yeah.
Russian women began a strike for bread and peace in response to the deaths of Russian soldiers in World War I. The women continued to strike until the emperor was forced to abdicate, and the provisional government granted women the right to vote. Throughout the whole 20th century, Russian women were fighting on an equal footing with men. They were building communism, raising kids, and working in production, while their husbands were fighting in the Great Patriotic War. And Russian women
Well, hold on.
are still fighting even today.
Hold on. Okay, sweetheart. I'm sorry. I know that you're Russian, but come on. There were Soviet snipers. There were translators. There were Russian women pilots. Come on now. Like I say, the Germans didn't have that. The Americans sure as hell didn't have that. But I mean, to a point, the Soviets had to. But it's like, come on, girl, come on, honey. That's not. Yeah.
Unfortunately, in today's Russia, the 8th of March is seen only as
University.
the female
Oh,
part of the
damn.
Defender of the Fatherland Day. And let's see what gifts are advertised for this holiday. Here we see some beauty products, mostly creams. In supermarkets, they display pillows, shampoos, and dolls, everything in red and pink colors. I wonder how much profit sellers make on these holidays. So again, when I was in school, our boys also made the same kind of party as we had on the February 23rd. They
Yeah.
gave us some gifts, some chocolates and hair bands.
Yeah.
And also they were singing nice songs for us, and we played some games. And
So hold on. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 5 dudes at your school. Hold on, 6 dudes at your school. That's it. Was this like a women's school that they allowed some dudes or what? Come on, what?
so on. And traditionally on this day, men give flowers to women, and congratulations would be like, our dear ladies always stay the same wonderful and beautiful. And this is where it becomes disturbing. The problem is that we are forgetting the initial meaning of this holiday, because it is a holiday that celebrates feminism achievements, not just femininity. And all these flowers look so absurd against the backdrop of how horribly misogynistic and sexist Russia is.
Holy crap! So you spent most of the video just kind of telling like some half truths and whatnot, and talk about like Chechnya and shit, and like the deportations of the Chuvash and whatnot. But it's like, okay, what is this? Yeah, not to be fed pussy, but I think that if you're a revolutionary, you should take advantage of obligated military service. Let you keep your service weapon again. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good point though. Absolutely, you shouldn't. Yeah. Soviets and various resistance movements as partisans were the only ones that had female soldiers and fighters. Yep, exactly.
When we still don't have a law against domestic violence, when people get away with sexual harassment, when people who paint body positive.
Okay, so hold on. Russian activist faces porn charges for running vagina model. Well, oh my goodness. I mean, look, to me, Russia, like a lot of, I think Russia is kind of one of those countries that portrays itself as trad, and I think occasionally they do some very trad stuff, but in general, like I say, it's the same as most Western countries, in my opinion. The thing is like, okay, let's just get it out the way. Okay, who saw the third rail last night? Let's just be honest. Who saw the third rail? Did y'all watch the third rail? Let's just keep it real. Okay, I'm just gonna be real about it. Press 1 if y'all saw the third rail, and if you don't know what that is, just ignore it. But how many of y'all saw it last night? I just want to make sure. I'll wait for a minute. Okay, you watch it. Okay, so hold on. So Christian Dissident. So you saw that video at the very end, right? I don't remember if I saw you in the chat or not, but y'all saw that video, the last video that they showed with them breaking in, on the women that were doing like OnlyFans stuff and yeah, where the the police had their balaclavas on and stuff. Yeah, it's probably for the best. Yeah, at least Christian Dissident knows. Yeah. But basically they were showing a video of Russian police breaking in to women who were doing the cam horror stuff. They were breaking in and basically they were breaking in and they put it to music. Basically, it was like on 4chan. I think it was one of those things. But yeah, Christian Dissident knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, it was at the very end, and they had yeah, it was pretty funny though. Even I had to say it was a pretty good video. But yeah. But in general, I think, it's like, okay, they don't have laws against, domestic violence, where it's like, okay, the thing is the U.S. doesn't really do a good job of even, enforcing those laws. So what's the point of having the laws if you can't enforce them?
Pictures are imprisoned for pornography distribution. And when in labor classes in our schools, we're divided according to gender, so that girls are learning how to cook and sew, and boys are learning how to make stools. This was in my school, by the way. I just can't. And our society is still.
Hold on. The thing is, like, okay, so at your school, the boys were learning how to make stools, and you were learning how to sew and stuff like that. That's pretty trad. That's pretty trad, bro. It's like, you know, if your mom could teach you that stuff and whatnot, it's like, yeah, it'd be cool. I mean, you could take care of yourself, you know. I don't know, man, but that'd be pretty cool.
Who doesn't care about it? Because in today's Russia, it's even kind of shameful to support feminism, especially for men. Or maybe it's not shameful, but they just don't think about it because people are too busy with surviving in this country. Only several years ago, Russian feminists started to speak up, saying that it's not flowers that they want to get for the 8th of March, but equal rights. Some artists and musicians also make statements.
Once again, no Pussy Riot. No. Once again, with Pussy Riot, though, it was so funny when I saw them got the hell smacked out of them. Yeah. Oh, boy.
Statements on this topic. And I'm really glad that in today's Russia, people learn more about ideas of feminism and female solidarity.
Bruh.
Anyway, so to conclude, I would say that Defender of the Fatherland Day and International Women's Day in Russia are amazing holidays because they celebrate things that are so important for our country, heroism of our defenders and women's rights. And these holidays are also very practical because they are celebrated in a row, and Russian people have a specific date when they can give gifts to their loved ones. But the problem is that we are forgetting the roots of these holidays. I think that on the 23rd of February, we should congratulate only military people, regardless of gender, instead of reminding boys that they should go to the army. And on the 8th of March, we should celebrate feminism and to check on the current situation with human rights.
Bruh.
Instead of simply wishing girls to remain as light as flowers. I think there's nothing wrong with traditionally manly men and womanly women.
Then you shouldn't support feminism then. It's that simple. Oh, sweetie, how long were you in the United States? Because the thing is, look at what the United States is now. Like I say, you're just going to end up in this sort of, you know, nothing matters and everybody's expendable type of stuff. That's really the thing of it. Is that feminism is something that capitalism uses to undermine both genders, male and female, to say it doesn't really matter, you're a worker regardless. You are a number on a piece of paper. That's the whole idea of feminism. That's why you should be against feminism, because it's like, it just, you know, this idea of equality, this and that. No, it just means that you can be equally screwed.
If people want to, if they want to go to the army, or if they want to stay at home to raise kids, that's okay. But it's very bad when this is imposed and dictated by society. This is the end of my video, and I am anticipating an interesting discussion in comments. Tell me if you have the same holidays in your country and how you celebrate them. Do you have your own version of Defender of the Fatherland Day? And are these two holidays kind of juxtaposed on gender basis in your country as it's done in Russia? And making this video wouldn't be possible without the support of my Patreons and PayPal pals. Thank you guys very much for your support. I really appreciate it. And thanks everybody for watching. Like this video, write a comment, subscribe to my channel.
You know, I have a feeling I was gonna do this, I think, in a video, but I decided if we're going down the Russia route, let's do Ubersoy. Let's go ahead and do Ubersoy. Why not? Let's go ahead and do him.
And
whatever. So is this literally like femoid stuff? Hold on. Is this literally like femoid crap? Oh no, it's oh no, okay, it is just her. Okay. What do Russians think about what Russians think about of other countries? I don't give a shit. Okay, let's go ahead and see this, because this was pretty funny, to be honest with you. This was pretty funny. Well, we'll go through these. Why not? These were pretty funny, I have to say. Yeah. Feminism equals capitalism. It is, yeah, absolutely. Yep, exactly. Did you see that video though, Christian Dissolution, when they
I said certified freak.
Oh, sorry.
7 days a week.
Okay, let's go ahead. We're gonna go through these one at a time. That way we can let's go ahead and critique it a little bit. But yeah. So let's get into it here. Here we go.
I said certified freak.
Okay. So the world all ending. So neoliberal ending. Leftist political policy and immigration have continued to be pushed into Western countries. Rising income and wealth inequality, as well as unemployment caused by automation, has increased social tensions, has led to the growth of extremist movements. Society is turned into a battle of different classes and identity groups. The dominant ideology is consumeristic resistance. Those who survive are social Darwinists by heart, social justice warriors in appearance. Yeah.
7 days a week. Wet ass P word. Make that pullout game weak. Yeah, you effing.
Yeah. Okay, so due to neoliberal policy, large corporations and monopolies start to the first one is pretty spot on, I have to say, but let's go ahead and look at this one. So due to the neoliberal policy, large corporations and monopolies started to pose a threat to the nation states. Disputes over the authority of the state and the typical transnational corporation are common occurrences. The dominant ideology of the ruling elite is libertarian, while the counterculture unites around syncretic ideology combining main pretensions towards the status quo. Class warfare is prevalent, racial solidarity is commonplace. Okay. In general, I don't think the ruling elite are libertarian. I really don't. I think that, they have libertarian elements, but no, like I said, libertarians are too cringe. Nobody would want to realistically join them except for just losers. I'm sorry, but yeah. Yeah. Splicing, yeah. Oh, boy. As a result of hyperconsumption by the people primarily located in Asia, Africa, and South America, global temperature has risen to a remarkable degree, displacing 400 million people, a third of whom have flooded into the global north. Clashes between the natives and refugees are commonplace. Most countries in the global north have embraced populism to counter the threat of ethnic displacement. Western powers, China and its allies, sanction and in some cases use the military against countries that produce the most emissions. To a point, this may happen. Pandemic and as a result of the 4 million old Erebus virus being uncovered, most of the water habitation has infected, causing massive extinction of several species and a water infection causing massive water shortages. Until it mutated and started infecting land mammals, including humans, hundreds of millions died, and as a result, causing anarchy in some places, while in others causing greater state intervention. Dysgenics had slowed in the developing world. It's very possible. Okay, bioluminescence. So this is, like I said, this is a super internet concept. This is like some super online belief here. So let's go ahead and read this bioluminescence. Throughout the Western world, there are evangelical commotions consisting of renouncing one's perceived privilege if they happen to be naturally better adapted to live in the world, and constant deconstruction of the culture which reinforces meritocracy. Social policy is made in such a way as to privilege the perceived disadvantaged, resulting in a radical booming growth of the disadvantaged population and influence. The elites base their rule using bioluminescence by fulfilling the will of the oppressed and regarding any criticism of the state of affairs as hate speech. Criticism is allowed only within an assumption of tabula rasa. Social exclusion, mental illnesses, and suicides are the defining characteristic of the masses. I don't know about the masses. Some there's some white folks and specifically Karens that this would happen to, but yeah. All right, here we go. The NRX ending. Here we go. Let's see what we got here. So, as a result of the woke tyranny, the disenfranchised, highly intelligent opposition. This is unrealistic to me. This is just complete LARP. The others are somewhat possible, but yeah, NRX in general, I think, is just kind of blasé. As a result of the woke tyranny, was formed. Their philosophy is essentially the opposite of the woke philosophy. Neo-reactionaries are evenly spread across the Western world, mostly creating parallel institutions to the cathedral, weakening and destabilizing it until it is replaced by something else. No, that's nice, but no, that's not going to happen. At least in my opinion. Okay, let's see here. Let's take a look here. I'm going to look at the chat here. So we're going through this. Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, those ending vids were good. Yeah, was good. Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah. Russian police are based. Yeah, exactly. Western Union was good to me, at least. Yeah. I'm not in support of ultra-capitalist ending. By the way, just miming. Yeah. The word king must, but unironically. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's see here. I'm just going to do it this screen, yeah. Furthering of individuals' social rights and freedoms, as well as the phenomenon of wokeness, had resulted in the disintegration of most of the social values, passing a polygamous family structure revival and anti-decadent ideology of order is increasingly being spread across the population. Many men are left womenless. Oh my goodness. This is like basically if Mormonism took over. Is this basically it? It's like Mormonism and other religions that would make it okay to like have multiple wives. And I know Mormons don't officially believe that anymore. I know. But the thing is, you do have fundamentalist Mormons out there, So, yeah. So basically, if Mormonism took over. All right.
Gotta drill my ass with a strap.
Oh boy, this is probably pretty realistic. Here we go. So, Turning Point USA ending polyamory and oh boy, redacted with redacted. Older than 14 are legal. Most Western countries are flooded with third world migrants. Mainstream conservatives are criticized for being too at odds with times. The Republicans receive less than 30% of the minority vote. Whites compromise about 40% of the population. Israel defends itself against all of its neighbors and cleanses itself of them. Yeah.
Oh, make me come without using my hands on. I love you, Donnie. You make me cry. Come in my mouth.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Dysgenic ending. Yeah. As a result of the continuation of the dysgenic trends after the Industrial Revolution, a relaxed natural selection. And yeah, maladaptive and feeble-minded people are the dominant population. People with good genetic traits are being selected against. Society first succumbs to wokeness, then returns to a more primitive form of organizing that is well-suited for sub-90 IQ people. Genetic research is prohibited. Democracy is disestablished. Yeah. This is very possible, yeah. This is another, yeah. No, this is the Catboy ending, basically, yeah. As a result of high conservative birth rates and a decline in intelligence. Hardcore traditionalism weighs power politics because of popular vote. High in-group loyalty, traditional family structures, and religiousness are the reigning popular beliefs. Abortion, degeneracy, and moral relativism are all made illegal. The anti-conservative leftist counterculture that is being developed adopts socio-biological analysis. No. Like I say, we've already seen. I mean, Nick Fuentes. Like I say, I mean he's on the ropes, man. Like I say, this guy's been put on the no-fly list. This guy's being investigated by the FBI. He is he is nothing more than a grifter. Same thing with this guy. This is a supposedly, based Catholic, Supreme Court member. Basically, voted for Trump to get out. So yeah, no, neither one of these people are conservative. They are, like I say, no. Nobody who lives in the U.S. and are extremely online would ever believe that this ever came true. No, this is not going to happen. There's no proving me wrong on this one. This is just not going to happen. I'm telling you right now. No. This is probably what's going to happen. Tribalism, intolerance, and the nature of the multiracial society has decreased social trust and cohesion. As a result, liberal democracies are turned into a field of different groups competing against each other for group interests. Eventually, the strongest socio-political group had secured the power and turned it into an expression of its interests. Social progress and intellectual life came to a halt. Yeah, we're going to go through a dark ages. Yeah. In this country, yes. Which will lead to this, yes. The collapse of the nation state due to temporary circumstances such as an epidemic, refugee and political crisis, and civil wars. Some places of the world are turned into Somalia. Many different ideologies are being tested out in small, often gated communities. This is already happening. We've already done a Chaz. So yeah, this is pretty realistic, ranging from anarcho-capitalism to theocracy. People are united on common ideas, ethnicities, and proximity. The federal government does not attempt to interfere. I don't know about them not interfering, but I do think that this is pretty realistic in my opinion. This is what we're headed towards. That's a good song, though. Status ending. Here we go. Feeling threatened by corporations and supported by the majority vote and demands for welfare, the state further centralizes its power and control over its population. Elected politicians rarely reverse any governmental changes which decrease freedoms. Education is centralized. Centralized. The society is focused on producing a population that will be of utility to the ruling ideology. Some countries have implemented social credit systems. Yeah, I know you're referring to China in that case. Yeah. Most Western countries have adopted regulations to achieve equal social and economic outcomes between identity groups. Libertarianism is popular counterculture. No, libertarianism has never been popular. Debate me. No. In the West, it has never been popular. It is only something that people that already have money in general, or like middle class folks in general, gravitate towards. But in general, unless you have an education, you're not going to give a shit about libertarianism. It's cringe. However, in practice, all it does is market deregulations which do not threaten the state and cause strong reactions from the left, further supporting the state. Certain aspects of this may take hold, in my opinion. Okay, progressive ending, the rediscovery of 20th century. Texts from the progressive era have pushed the intellectual masses into adopting a system of management that will focus on improving human potential. Society is run by experts. Voting is considered a privilege, not a right. Knowledge sharing is open and widespread. The education system focuses on human biodiversity and preparing kids for life. Social mobility, to an extent, is defined by genetic potential. Sociobiological and Darwinian theories have taken over academia. Most dysgenic traits are removed with eugenics, and IQ decline. Oh, and IQ decline is reversed. A citizen has a guaranteed right to a job. Unemployment and crime are close to 0%. I've read some of Walter Lippmann. This is a nice idea, but ID poll is still very strong. So I feel like this is nice, but ultimately unrealistic. Let's see here. Yes. This is another aspect that could very well happen. Like I say, I mean, there will be civil unrest, this and that, and I do think that this will occur. So yeah, due to endless conflicts between two main political parties and identity groups comprising those parties, the United States peacefully ceased to exist as a united nation. Most people are satisfied with living separately from each other. New states are defined by race and political preferences. A white ethno-state is established in Greater Idaho. Yeah, maybe. It depends on how bad it gets, but yeah. Oh, here we go. Eurasia. Okay. European Union, after Poland, Hungary, and few other states had left it, had decided to expand southward and finally redefined itself as a multicultural and multiracial political entity. Islamism is as dominant as Christianity. Immigration goes typically from south to north. Many Muslim enclaves are being formed in traditionally Christian countries. Social inequality is persistent. Race riots are common. New Europeans do not feel integrated into the mainstream society. Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, the Hezbollah flag matched with the French flag is very, yeah. Like I say, I know that Shia Islam in general is still a minority, but yeah, this is absolutely going to happen.
May Allah awaken the people.
So he did like the more caliphate sort of attitude, And now this one is more, Muslim identity movement. A new collective identity group is formed on the principles of Muslim solidarity. As a consequence, Muslims in foreign countries are more loyal to this concept in their host countries. Religious extremism and inbreeding are commonplace. There are often talks of uniting all Muslim countries into one country. Western powers often cave into their demands. This is possible.
And help them to see the evil doings of Israel.
Oh boy, here we go, the Duganism, right? Many countries in Central Asia, Eastern Europe, and elsewhere felt alienated by other regional unions and decided to join the Eurasian Socio-Economical Union based on the principles of the fourth political theory, rejecting all the previous ideologies in favor of traditionalist particularism. Although all members are considered equal, Russian influence tends to be more dominant. I'm not sure. This one's kind of iffy to me, but I'm not sure. Why would the DPRK, hold on, why would North Korea be involved with, okay, I don't know. Okay, hold on. So Iran is involved, but not Syria. Huh, interesting. Or not Iraq, excuse me, not Iraq. Syria is involved. Okay, yeah, sorry, Iraq. I'm an idiot. I'm retarded. Chinese domination. This is very possible as well. Yeah. And I've thought about this map as well. Yeah, how far would the Chinese go inland? Let's see here. Yeah, the UK probably would fight to a point. Yeah. I don't know. That's an interesting thing. Yeah. economy is about 40% of the world's economy. While they are also the strongest military nation, their expansion finds no resistance as they are too strong to be messed with both territorially and economically. Most of the other world is in debt to China, and Chinese companies and stocks are reigning supreme. The world is increasingly adopting the Chinese model and can be described as a camp of those who are with China and those who are against it. The West is no longer the world model. Western unity. Oh boy. In opposition to China and other threats, Western civilization has formed a socio-political alliance, which includes now democratic Russia and parts of South America. Their mission is to conserve democracy and Western culture. Nationalist revival and collectivism are present throughout the Western world. People return to their roots and explore their ethnic identities. Parts of this may be true, but
Be forgot on days of old lang syne. Poor old lang syne, my dear.
world civilizations are pitted against each other. Both culturally and economically, strong regional alliances are formed. One's culture is defined not by itself, but by opposition to the other. Ideology is culture. Regional wars are widespread. A threat of nuclear war is always on the table. This is probably pretty realistic, in my opinion. Yes, I believe this is true. This could occur. Due to changing political attitudes regarding race and vision of the country, Joe Biden, after defeating Donald Trump in 2024, started enacting the political vision of white supremacy as a result of trying to appear cool and popular. The party flipped again. Trump ran as a trans woman and lost. Democrats are proving to be the real racists. Libs own once again.
We already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots.
That's pretty funny. One world government. Here we go. Regional unions such as the European and African unions and nation states have been given more power to the United Nations due to a series of conflicts and political disputes between countries. Elites, academia, and politicians embrace globalism and multiculturalism. Any observations of intolerance or difference between people are punishable by law. Unregulated immigration causes few cultures to disappear. Though much of the world is still governed locally, and UN decisions are sometimes enforced militarily, a giant tower to symbolize human interconnectedness is being constructed. This is the Alex Jones ending, yeah. And there are some aspects that could happen, but I don't know. Nice. That was funny, though. I do have to admit that was pretty funny. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, Wignat Joe, exactly. Dugan, yeah, I love the Dugan. His ending, yeah. Grisfus ending is unironically best non-balkanized one. Yeah, in my opinion, at least compared to the others. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Like 8 years ago, Unruhe said that Bitcoin was going to zero. Yeah, exactly. He's a coper. Yeah. I would say, though, yeah, to be honest, I do wish that would be the ending, but yeah, it's probably not going to happen that way. Yeah, there's my Chinese Shalong. Now, where's my She-Buck She? Exactly. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's see this part 2 for the U.S., huh? He had to change the music here. That's too bad. Let's see what we got here. So, conservative ink ending. Conservatism officially became social liberalism with deregulated economies and the virtue of personal responsibility. Conservatives abandoned their position in favor of popular support and constantly appealing to minorities, as Democrats did in the 2010s. Wealth inequality and identity conflicts are commonplace. Neither most conservatives nor leftists enjoy this state of affairs. Most social conservatives have abandoned the Republican Party. Absolutely true. Yep. This is very possible. Yeah. Oh, Lord. Oh, boy, the libertarian ending. Okay. Unregulated capitalism and private property, social and individual norms have led to income and wealth inequality and a lack of support for social programs. The result is constant social struggles between classes and identity groups. Sexual deviancy, drug epidemic, mental instability, and poverty are widespread. Most rich and middle-class people live in gated communities to a point of the establishment of semi-independent states. I've talked about this before. This is very possible, but in small doses. The Hoppian ending. Okay. As in the libertarian ending, the economy is heavily deregulated and the role of the federal government is diminished to a minimum. Democracy is disestablished across the nation. Regional autonomies yield more power than federal authority. All communities make their own rules, which vary across population. This may be true to a point. Most communities adopt strong traditionalism and discipline. The nation state ceased to exist as a socioeconomic diversity of that level. Cannot presume any social cohesion. So, hold on. On a wide scale. There we go. On a wide scale. Okay. I've never read Hoppe, so I'm just going to assume this to be, it's kind of realistic, but once again, small doses. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is Southern Circle's ending right here. This is Southern Circle's prime due. I don't, Southern Circle, I don't think you're in the chat right now, but when you hear this, if you do see this video, this is your ending right here, buddy. Southern Pride ending. Due to the collapse of the nation state as a result of people going their own ways, a separatist group has risen in the southern states, declaring a new confederacy based on equal rights and southern heritage. This time it was left alone. Wow. That does seem nice to a point. I'm sorry. I went off for a minute. I was like, wow. Trumpism ending. Trump has gathered himself a large amount of support from the Republican voters, which had transformed the nature of the Republican Party, pushing it from constitutionalism to Trump worship. Most loyalists have declared Trump to be their God Emperor. Despite this, Trump never won another election. Political tribalism, conspiracy theories, and blind loyalty are the defining characteristics of the MAGA movement. Yeah, this is partly true, though. This is probably what's going to occur. Yeah. Yeah, secular conservative. Yeah, exactly. Conservatives had drifted a large number of intellectuals from the left who considered themselves to be liberals or moderates. As a result of that, conservatism is now associated with calm intellectualism, liberal values, and to an extent, environmentalism. Despite that, demographic trends have not been reversed, and most people still vote for left-wing parties because of identity politics in which they engage. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very true. This is already occurring, but yeah, this is the Murray guy, and of course, Sam Harris, and I don't know who the hell this is, but yeah. Part of this is already happening. Once again, the NRX ending. Here we go. Due to the continuation of the march leftwards, many people were left wondering why. A group of highly intellectual philosophers came up with a social theory explaining the nature and power of progress. Eventually, the anarchist community became the most dominant unofficial power analysis from the right, as it mostly stayed undercover, focusing on creating parallel institutions hostile to the mainstream. No. Anorex in general is for big brain dudes. They're never going to go anywhere. Sorry. Oh my goodness. No. Yeah, many young people inspired by Nick Fuentes and company have gone mainstream and now yield a disproportionate amount of influence on Republicans, though mostly through votes. As a result of their influence, social conservative and religiosity are encouraged, while degeneracy is highly discouraged. No, come on. This is basically the Catboy ending. Exactly. It's like, come on, man. No. That's nice to say, but no. America had embraced isolationist policy and focused on its borders. The wall has been built, and immigration is now proportionate to America's current racial demographics. However, intolerance and the harsh political climate threaten more repressive measures. Aspects are true, but America First is just going to become like, I think it's going to be, like I say, this particular incarnation of America First, I think, is close to ending, in my opinion. Because eventually Nick Fuentes is going to move on to like other stuff, and he's going to become just another basic bitch conservative, or maybe like a John Birch Society sort of guy. But that's just me. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. Oh man, here we go. Now, this is going to happen in some areas in the U.S. This will occur, but once again, nationwide, I don't know. So, religious fundamentalism. Due to the disproportionate amount of births among religious people, this is very true. Eventually, religiosity and social conservatism became the reigning political preferences among the voters. The result of that is less tolerance, the ban on abortions, revival of gender roles, and a culture of purity. Education became a privilege and more valuable for intelligence and social mobility mobility than before. Political intelligence is generally low. Much of the population is influenced by religious rhetoric and conspiracy theories. Yes. This will occur, though. This will occur. To some degree, yeah. Okay, here we go. Aristocratic ending in certain autonomous communities. Some conservatives have embraced the aristocratic and monarchical ethics, consequently in changing their behavior towards the ideals of the 19th century. As a result of that, democracy is minimized to only the enlightened few, thereby establishing the culture of competency and hierarchy. Unfortunately, most of the aristocratic privilege is passed through bloodlines, slowing down social mobility. Maybe. Put this down as a maybe. Okay. Social Darwinist ending. In order to combat dysgenics as now widely self-evidently a problem, some conservative higher-ups and intellectual leaders began embracing social theories and methods of organizing based on meritocratic quality. The nature of political correctness is fading away, and conservatives, for the first time, are now pushing the narrative and are being perceived as progressive. The left is freaking out. Maybe. I don't know.
America's core problems.
Oh, here we go. The Tucker Carlson ending. Here we go. Tucker Carlson runs as president in 2024 based on nationalist and populist sentiments, embracing center-left economic policy and socially right-wing cultural values. After securing power, he focused on combating leftist influence in academia, So he would basically become like Orban, basically. So Tucker Carlson would be like Orban. All right. Okay. In academia, popular culture, and fighting for political equity laws, outlawing any political discrimination on social media, and works to enact progressive taxation laws. Order is restored, wealth inequality has shrunk, the wall is built, and the demographic decline of white Americans is stopped. I mean, the thing is, Tucker Carlson is a chameleon, so maybe, but I think that he would eventually find a way to cuck out. But yeah, that's me.
Facts or economics?
To the town of our freedom, will a stranger one fine day.
Yeah. Due to the recent economical crisis and continuing effects caused by wealth inequality, the Republicans embraced left-wing economic positions while saving their socially conservative positions, thereby driving a large electorate from the Democratic Party. Among the economic preferences of Republicans are, but are not limited to, Georgism, Keynesianism, Marxism, syndicalism, and distributism. Despite their differences, all are united in tackling the failures of neoliberalism. Possibly, but they will be outlawed. The funny part is coming up, though, if I'm thinking right. This is the. Okay. The third position is ending. Okay. Eventually, the right came to the conclusion that capitalism was enabling the left wing within the private sector and academic institutions. People have united on the ideas of a strong state with nationalistic tendencies that was anti-capitalist, anti-communist, and against the social degradation of late-stage capitalism. They decided to organize society according to the revolutionary doctrine of the third positionist movement in order to maintain the existence of American society. To execute their will, democracy, liberalism, and the ideas of humanism were sacrificed. Most of the intelligentsia are being repressed while the bureaucratic machine further centralized. Possibly, but still kind of underground. The eco-fascist ending. Okay. As a result of the decline of federal power, some communities are governed by the ideas of eco-fascism, a combination of authoritarian ways of organizing for the sake of preserving and fostering racial solidarity in nature. Eco-fascist ideas never went beyond their prevalence among certain intellectuals and communities, so their impact on global warming is minimal. However, their impact on social cohesion and racial preservation is significant. Maybe in like Montana, maybe in like, Wyoming, and kind of like more in the central of the U.S., the so-called flyover states, but not nationwide. Charlottesville became a national success, and the alt-right continued to grow, culminating into a mass movement that became influentially powerful as Kushner and Company in the Trump administration. Oh, man. Bruh. The issues of immigration and freedom of association have been put on the table. As a consequence of going mainstream, alt-right leaders had abandoned most of their radical and unpractical ideas and distanced themselves from the fringes of the far right. Despite that, they still agree on establishing a white ethno-state in proper Greater Idaho and defending white racial interests. I don't know. I think it's unrealistic, to be honest with you, but okay. Here we go. Imperialist revival. As a result of the revival of strong nostalgia combined with nationalistic sentiment and a need for living space, Western powers returned to imperialistic policies, conquering and subjugating people who evidently can't rule on their own for the good of collective society. This policy is justified by liberal theorists such as John Locke, John Stuart Mill, and the theories of social Darwinism, as many contemporaries. I don't know. To a point, this may be true. I don't know. And prim ending. Oh boy, here we go. Much of the traditionalist and highly intellectual segments of the right-wing populace realize that the Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race. Terrorist activity is spreading across the Western world to capture attention. In those attacks, highly socialized people and scientists are targeted. Their goals are to save society from tyranny, over-socialization, and a collapse of meaning that will come about as a result of technological process. The movement still uses some of the current technology in an effort to spread its message. Possible in some aspects, but will never become nationwide. That's pretty funny, though. Multiracial whiteness ending. Oh, yeah, here we go. Whites did become a minority in their own countries. However, as soon as non-whites stopped fearing being discriminated against, they began supporting conservative parties en masse, transforming their societies into societies which value religion, family, and personal responsibility. The most conservative groups in America are Hispanics, Muslims, and Indians. Whites, on the other hand, become more progressive as they were before the mid-20th century. This is probably realistic. Yeah, this is probably what's going to occur. The deranged ending. Here we go. Extremely autistic Discord users have implemented some series of internet and mental asylum uprising with the slogan of all power to the lunatics, death to the orderlies. The therapeutics claim that that was a result of the National Bolshevist ideology, which has combined the radical elements of National Socialism and Marxism-Leninism in order to be base extremists. The result of that is higher toxicity on the internet and an increase in the femboy quantity. If this ever did happen, God help us. Melancholic ending. Conservatives continue to lag 15 years behind liberals. Committed nationalists and conservatives have abandoned their dreams of ever influencing public policy and either begin to work destructively towards the state, as did leftists before getting power, or immigrate to countries in Eastern Europe and Siberia in an effort to build a cohesive society which will uphold their values. There's some truth in this. So yeah, this is possible. Yes, he should do a part 2. I didn't see that before. Yeah, he should. He should do that, yeah. Yeah, just look at that flag, though. Yeah, epic, yeah. Imperialist ending worse. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Tucker, yeah, he is, admittedly, yeah. Solaris, yeah. You know what? I will give a shout-out while GSP is in the chat here. Shout-out to them on their recent video from the War Report. They had very good sober commentary talking about Israel and Palestine. Oh, screw it. Let's go ahead and I'll play a little bit of it. We're not going to play every minute of it, but we'll go ahead and play some of it. Why not? Let's see here. I know what it's going to go to. I know what's going to go to first. Yeah, here we go. Okay, let's see here. We'll play some of this, so why not? And we're not going to listen to every minute of it, but like I say, I'll go ahead and drop the link in the chat. I think this is some very good commentary, though, in general. I think that was a very pragmatic commentary, I thought. And it wasn't as LARPy as some, so I like that. So I'll go ahead and play some of it, though, yeah. Here's Syria, all endings. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Let's go ahead and see that. Let me see here. Okay, here we go. Okay. What's this? Syria, all endings. Oh, boy. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Okay, let's go ahead and see this first, and then we'll do it. Good ending. Syria was set free from Ottoman rule and repelled the French colonizers. In modern day, it has stable and economic. Yeah, good economy, good oil. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Bashar won the civil war and reunited Syria. The country is in ruins, but finally can start reversing. This is kind of, yeah, this is pretty close to what's actually happening now to a point. That's still a bop. Okay. What's this? The Islamic State has won the civil war. It expanded into more countries and creating it. Yeah. This is kind of unrealistic, but okay. So you're going to get more Arab states join the United Arab Republic. They defeat Israel, retake Jerusalem, and become dominant force in Asia. Yes. That'd be the dream, wouldn't it? Not even, this isn't even for me, obviously, but yeah. For them, I imagine it would be great. Yeah, inshallah, definitely. Don't worry, I'll save this one for later. I'm not going to make y'all watch this one. Democratic ending. Democratic protesters win the civil war. Assad flees to Russia. The first elections in Syria with a multi-party system will be held. And not realistically, no. I don't see this happening. Worst ending. After the civil war, the country suffers major territorial losses. Syria becomes bankrupt. The country suffering never ends. There's some aspects of that may be true, yeah. Especially this with the whole Kurdistan. Basically, we are an American colony. Yeah. Never falls and carries on to modern times. Hey, there you go. There's a real ending, right? I don't even know about the Babylonian Empire, to be honest with you. That was pretty funny. Oh, well. Okay, I'll save this for later, though. Let's listen to just a little bit of this. Why not?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of the War Report. And it looks like the Israel-Palestine debacle, I don't even want to call it a conflict, that's not really a fair terminology. I
agree.
Is finally simmering down. Now,
it's just more of a flare-up, really. That's what I called it, but yeah.
What form will this take? Who is coming on top? Well, it looks like, of course, Israel has, because I thought the Palestinians were going to pull this off this time. Didn't you? Well, I think...
Yeah.
My friend, you were wrong. Maybe I'm talking to myself. Maybe I had a little too much hope that that this would be the end. That would be Jover for Israel. But it looks like
there were people that were saying that this was like a third intifada, but yeah, it never occurred. Yeah, the the truce has been made. I think that in general, things have kind of gone back to the way they were. People have been coping, of course. Obviously, people are mad at Vosh for giving money to the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. Of course, people have been mad as hell about that. I'll probably show that video from Superpower Broadcasting. It's just cringe. But yeah, let's go ahead and continue.
that is not the case. And moving on, there's been what is more or less a ceasefire. That's what they've been calling it. Declared by the Israeli government, declared by the White House, by Blinken and everything. Of course, Biden and his team putting out statements like, well, the Israel and Palestinians should both live in peace and they should learn to get along, smoke pot, and listen to John Lennon's Imagine. That's
exactly.
been sort of the rhetoric coming out of the White House. Usually happens under a Democratic administration when there's troubles in Israel, at least I would say ever since the Clinton era. That's usually been the Democratic response. Now, of course, you've had the more openly pro-Palestinian elements of the left stand up on this and grandstand on this. But it looks like this really was the January 6th of Palestine.
Yeah.
Because they went all in. They launched all those rockets.
Yeah.
They, it was supposed to be the third, intifada. But at the end of the day, look at where they are now. Again, the almost ground invasion of Gaza happened, and that was, of course, the lure out
almost
troops and everything else. But again, it was a major defeat for Hamas and the Palestinians, not necessarily in a military sense, but in a PR sense, in an optical sense. Now, of course, they have all these voices coming out in support of them, but it's inconsequential. It's not going to do anything for them. It's not like a PR victory for Israel, where when people come out and support Israel, that's a good thing, and it bolsters them. Because, again, the Palestinians don't have that clout for obvious reasons.
That's true.
And when you see this, you've seen elements on the left and leftist groups being just outright.
And I know you said this later on, too, particularly about China. Like I say, I try to be a centrist about China, and I think that was one of the things. I made a video called Separating Game from Truth about geopolitics. And in it, I went kind of, I felt like it was kind of cringe the way I talked about China. But the way y'all talked about it, I was like, I like that sentiment. It's like those were some points that I covered, but I think in general, I think it covered it well. But yeah.
Anti-Israel, pro-Palestinian. Because, again, that's a safe issue for them. That's a safe issue for our elite to sacrifice, because they know these people's activism, BDS, whatever, try as they might to ban it, won't be the downfall of Israel. They know that for a fact, and especially Hamas, especially a lot of these campaigns that come from the American Western left in regard to Palestine don't present any real challenge.
Oh, wow, neat.
A thorn in the side at most. Again, it's not like these people are supporting the pro-Iranian axis of resistance. I mean, half these people want Assad out of Syria and think that he's just as bad as Israel.
Yeah.
That's the angle they come at from. Most of them probably even couldn't tell you what Hezbollah is, or even know there's war in Yemen, or just know that Trump waged war in Yemen. Probably.
Yeah. That's something that upsets me a lot, too, is that people just simply, it's like these folks will say, yeah, Assad is awful, this and that. But then when it comes to actually talking about Palestine, they're like, oh, I feel so bad for them. And then it's like, well, Hamas bad, Hezbollah bad. And yeah, a lot of them don't even know to a point. But even those that do, they're just like, well, they're fascists, this and that. And we're just like, they don't understand geopolitics. They simplify it. They want a virtue signal. They want to have their charity streams. And I know to a point I can cope about it. But it's like, in reality, it's just a virtue signal. It's just a way to make them look good. They don't actually care about these things, in my opinion. It's the same thing with Vosh. Yeah, you almost raised, $300,000. Yeah, well done. I'll give you that. But it's like, at the end of the day, it's a virtue signal. Period.
I don't know that Biden is still doing it. But again, that's the angle they approach it from. And of course, you said they had a bunch of actors that were not of a certain tribe and again, people of certain extractions and all these major public figures coming out in support of Israel, putting out these ads saying how much we love our greatest ally and how great it is we can stand by them and give them a big hug and kiss and just make nice with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll let you take over from there because you were telling me mostly about that.
Well, I mean, if you put the conflict between Israel and Palestine with in a historical context of, let's say, the last half century and what it has meant for the left and what the left has meant for it, it's been basically nothing, right? So the left has never been able to achieve anything for the Palestinians or for the Palestinian cause.
They really haven't.
And I think that goes to some extent in explaining why, like, there weren't any Hollywood celebs who happened to be Jewish who stood up for Israel and denounced Hamas, right? Obviously, that would bring about, the frequent trope of dual loyalties.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it goes even deeper than that because
people like Gal Gadot, you're not going to hear a person that's very much somebody who has been in the IDF, obviously had a series of hotels with her husband that she has in Israel. So it's like, she's not going to do that. Like I say, she's not going to endanger her career about that. So absolutely.
It's a safe issue to be for Palestine, but not for actually achieving anything for Palestine.
Yeah.
It's a small price to pay for being for Palestine,
mm-hmm.
even as a Jew, because it will give you carte blanche.
Yeah, there is that. I think in the 1970s or 80s, there is that actress, I cannot think of her name, who tried to denounce Israel and whatnot, and they kicked her off the stage and whatnot. I know it's that British actress, but I cannot think of her name for the life of me. Anyway, other than stuff like that, you really don't see that type of stuff in Hollywood. You just don't see it. Nowadays, these Hollywood like I say, these actors, these actresses, they are told, hey, you say this, this, and this. You say it in this way, and you move on to the next thing.
Blanche to argue for more non-European descent migrants and immigrants into America, whether that's legal or not. It doesn't matter, right? So it's an important position to maintain. There's no worry that, like, being for Palestine.
Okay, let's see here. What is the deal with that one camp that Yermuk, I think it was, where pro-Palestinian, anti-Assad people claim he attacked the camp and doesn't care about the Palestinians? I somewhat know what you're talking about. I think they mentioned this in this video too, but overall it's like, Hamas is still a Sunni organization. And, while, like I say, I know that with Assad, it's a bit more complicated. Obviously, Assad being, I'm trying to think of it now. I cannot think of it. Kind of the weird esoteric Islam belief that he has. I think in general, these are kind of like, I think that's kind of just kind of the secret Sunni feeling. I think, in my opinion, anyway, it's kind of the standard belief. But Alawite. That's it. Yeah, Alawite. Thank you. But I think, I'm trying to be very careful here to not make a fool of myself. But I think that in general, I think it's kind of the secret opinion of a lot of Sunni Muslims, in my opinion. I mean, I've never been there, so I can't really say, but I would assume that's kind of the majority. They don't like Assad in general because, he is an Alawite, and they don't really care for Hezbollah because obviously they're Shia, even though they do accept Sunnis and Christians. At least they say. I don't know for sure, but that's my opinion.
Or reducing aid to Israel is ever going to actually be achieved. It won't be achieved. So even if Bernie Sanders supports AOC in halting this latest aid package,
mm-hmm.
And the aid package, 75% of the aid it goes to buy the arms. It's a subsidy program. It's literally like farm subsidies in that respect, right?
Okay, so that's pretty good. We'll go ahead and do this last one here. We're going to do superpower broadcasting because I think it's been a while since we talked about him, but we'll go ahead and talk about him again because I think that he's really been posting cringe recently, and somebody has to call it out. But basically, yeah, they make a lot of good points. Definitely shout out to the War Report and Constantine Martelli. I think great commentary. I think a lot of pragmatic commentary in this. To me, I think it makes you think and makes you kind of back down from sort of the LARP and just be like, okay, here's how it really is. And I think, in my opinion, that's what makes it great. Yeah. Just saying. I think I actually mean that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into good old, good old boy here, good old Kevin Castley here. It's been a while since we talked about him, but yeah. Yep, all the way, yeah.
Hello, welcome to Superpower Broadcasting. I'm Kevin Castley. Thanks for tuning in. So as of yesterday, there's a ceasefire underway between Hamas and Israel. And I got to say, the idea that Hamas is trying to brand this as a win right now and that they're having these parades and whatnot to celebrate their quote-unquote victory against Israel is totally ridiculous. Israel pummeled them. Israel inflicted a massive amount of damage on them.
Hold on. Okay. So let's be careful about this. I can't speak for Hamas doing parades and whatnot, but I believe there is a group Hamas, but there's also the Al-Quds Brigade, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the Al-Quds Brigade that is in Israel. That is in there as well. Like I said, I just want to clear this up. I know it's Wikipedia, but still. Basically, yeah, it is a Palestinian, Islamic Jihad. It is based, AQB's leadership based in Syria. The head of the AQB in Gaza Strip was Baha. Yeah, this is the one that he was. Oh, no. This is the one that died in 2019. But there was another leader in the Al-Quds Brigade that was killed in the recent attacks that did occur. So, yeah, like I say, Al-Quds Brigade also exists, but nobody wants to try to separate between Hamas and Al-Quds. They're just like, well, it's all the same. Who cares? They're all bad. Muslims are taking over. It's just, Anyway, let's go ahead and listen to this cringe, though. Get ready for the cringe meter, yeah. The reverse Trotsky, yeah. In case anyone's interested. Okay, let me see what we got here. Let's see what we got. What sort of channel is this here? Veterans Association. Oh, cool. Oh, wow. Oh, neat. Okay. There we go. Don't forget the USS Liberty. Yeah, never forget. Yeah, Dan Crenshaw. Exactly, condones war. Absolutely, he does. Yeah, Trotsky was a pawn mole for Wall Street. Yeah. Exactly. All right, let's continue here, though. That's a neat channel, though. I'll go ahead and let me drop the link in there. Why not? There we go. Anyone that wants to follow that, they may. There we go. And I know that you can put yours in, but yeah, just in case. All right, so I'll go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and hear more of what he has to say.
And managed to set them back about 3 years or more with regards to their rocket stockpile. Now, they also managed to do a lot of that by firing off over 4,000 rockets. And unfortunately, they managed to kill 12 people in Israel. And yet, a lot of the people in the West, as we've seen, are taking the side of Hamas. If not outright, they will do apologetics that lend themselves to Hamas. And it's really disturbing. I also want to note here that this ceasefire, this might last a while.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I was going to mention this, too. In that war report, I was going to link that. But I think that y'all do have a point, GSP, when they say that once the honkies become a minority, you can't push the Holocaust on these folks because, number one, hardly anyone knows what the hell the Holocaust is anymore. Like I said, and that's been proven. That only 27% of folks know what the Holocaust is. and it's not going to get any better. So yeah, people, you know, I mean, you could say that this is cultural Marxism or whatever you want to, but it's like people are going to look at the situation of Israel versus Palestine, and they're going to say, yeah, we should feel sorry for Palestine. So yeah, once that occurs, then yeah, a lot of Israeli support is going to change. And of course, yeah, you have evangelicals, of course, that really do maintain the power in, you know, Israel, this and that. So that's another aspect too, going down to Brazil and keeping that going. But yeah, Brazil, of course, like I said, Brazil is a powerful player. And if I was more intelligent and had more information, then, you know, we would be talking about that more. But yeah, you know, Brazil working with China, but then also still having those Israel connections. Yeah, very strong. But yeah. Let's continue though. Oh boy.
So this whole sort of situation might last now for a few years with barely any actual skirmish between the two.
Okay.
But understand something. Until Hamas is removed from power, these flare-ups are going to keep on happening for the end of time. I mean, this is what happens when you have defensive realists in charge like Benjamin Netanyahu, where...
See, this is part of the reason why I stopped getting into superpower broadcasting. He fell into the trap that a lot of folks do, where it's like, because they don't meet your standards, they're not neocons. And so it's this purity test type of crap. Everybody falls into it to a point, and they say, no, he wasn't one of us. He did this. So because they call, you know, you notice that he calls Netanyahu a defensive realist. He's not a neocon. He's not. He's a defensive realist, which to me is just meaningless wordplay, in my opinion. But this is something that people do in general because they want to defend the purity of their political ideology. They'll even call, I can't even think of his name now, but anyway, they'll call various folks and they'll just say, no, these are realists. These are defensive realists. They're not actually neocons, though.
They'll defend themselves if you attack them, as Netanyahu did.
Mm-hmm.
They really have no interest in preemptive strikes or preemptive liberation.
Oh, really? Look up the Levant Fair. Okay, yeah, okay, buddy.
They're not interested in going into Gaza and weeding out Hamas and liberating the people there. And that's a problem. So,
oh, please. It's because they know if they do that, then the UN and other countries will be forced to be like, hey, they can't just do they can't just do plausible deniability and say, oh, well, we're not doing anything in Gaza. When they do that and when they send troops in, then you know that the UN is not going to back down. So, no, that sounds pretty idiotic to me, but go ahead.
People talk about how bad it is in Gaza and everything. They're missing a lot of the context of why Gaza is the way it is. But additionally, they overlook the point that it's basically up to Israel to actually resolve the situation. And until then, there are going to be more and more rockets fired into Israel. It might be a few years now before they really flare up again. But understand something. The status quo, it benefited Israel. Israel managed to severely set back Hamas. Hamas is trying to brand it as a win, as a cope. But understand something. This isn't a significant change from the previous status quo. And that means that suffering and that means that tyranny in Gaza are going to continue.
Give me a break. You're just saying Hamas bad and whatnot, but it's like, look, I thought they were voted in, bro.
And it means that Israel is going to continue to live under the threat of terrorism. And in my view, the only way to avoid that altogether is to pursue a one-state solution in which these territories, but specifically here Gaza, are liberated and eventually incorporated into Israel. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
The thing is, to do that, though, you would kick out most of the Palestinian population, and then they'll go to Jordan, and they'll be in crap conditions in Jordan because they have, like I say, Jordan-Israeli relations, though, are some of the lowest they've been in decades. You, of course, have the war in Syria. You have Lebanon, which, of course, a lot of people haven't talked about this, but of course, after the destruction of the that grain silo in Lebanon, I imagine things are not great. So I don't know, man.
Take care, everybody, and stay based.
So yeah, I just feel like that's kind of the typical stuff with that. Yeah, what else is there to say about that? But yeah. I don't want to give him too much credit. We may come back to him again, but yeah, let's go ahead and stick with, something else here. What else should we talk about? Is there anything else? Yeah. I'd say the majority of Palestinian sympathizers in the West are more so sympathetic to the average Palestinian rather than Hamas, which is controlled opposition. Yeah. Can we watch UK all endings? Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and close out with the UK all endings. Why not? While Britain remains an important country, its future remains uncertain with new challenges and problems arising. Okay. Britain ceased to exist with England being its rump state. Yeah. That could happen. Britain was successfully conquered and humiliated by the Nazis during World War II. Well, the thing is, they did capture the the outlying islands, so they did capture the Channel Islands. So I mean, I don't know. Could have happened. It would have been a lot of casualties, but yeah. British Empire, the third superpower of the Cold War. Oh boy. Britain occupied the Vikings. Adopted their culture, becoming one of the Nordic countries. Oh man, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Considers local earldoms. There you go. That's the real ending. That's the real ending right there. Kept order in Britannia. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Third Reich conquered Europe. Oh, yeah. If only, right? Came an imaginary world based on lies to control society. That's probably close to reality, though, ironically. There you go. There you go. Moskva. Oh, wow. Anglican Church. Oh, wow. Yeah, exactly. Flee to Canada, yeah. There you go. There you go. Federation of Communes. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Oh boy, that's funny. Franco-British in it, yeah. Britain and France, yeah. That's hilarious. Spain and Stuart ruled Scotland. Oh man. Oh, that's funny. I wish I knew history better. Bruh. Lord Buckethead. Galactic Empire. Tea plantations. Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Yeah, Kaiserreich, exactly. Worst thing for the Anglos will obviously be the best. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's pretty funny though. Yeah, they were also the IRA. Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Well, I think I've pretty much said everything I wanted to say. I mean, I talked about, Israel, Palestine a little bit. We talked about Jason Unruhe, and yeah, I think we covered everything we wanted to cover. So I think we'll go ahead and call this an end. But yeah, great stream, everybody. Good vibing. I always kind of get awkward at the end here, but I think we're just going to call this a day. So let's go ahead and I'll unplug the microphone and I'll find a good outro here. I'd like America to absorb them into a puppet of the U.S. Yeah, that would make more sense. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and do. I think let me switch to this here. Let me see here. I think I'll do. I don't know. Let me see. I always get picky about this. I always turn into a boomer with this. Okay. I'll go ahead and do the Ernst. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do the Ernst Thalmann ending. Why not? The Ernst Thalmann ending. Here we go.
Machen Sie sich fertig, Thälmann.
Sie wissen wohl, was nun kommt.
Ja. Ein besseres Deutschland. Ein Deutschland ohne euch.
Das Wertvollste, was der Mensch besitzt, ist das Leben. Es wird ihm nur ein einziges Mal gegeben. Und benutzen soll er es so, dass er sterbend sagen kann: Mein ganzes Leben, meine ganze Kraft habe ich dem Herrlichsten auf der Welt, dem Kampf für die Befreiung der Menschheit gewidmet.